Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of For the Fans podcast. You may notice trying to be a little bit quiet tonight. That's because my daughter had an early bedtime because she's not feeling well, so she is sleeping in the next room. And I'm trying to be somewhat quiet for her.
We've been talking about that a little before we got on. It's going around. My kids are just getting over it. Matt, has your family been hit with it at all? I know Tyler's has. He
Uh,
won't be here tonight, but it got
yeah.
his family good.
Christy was a little bit sick, and then Ellie had just a runny nose, so we'll see.
Yeah. Oh
Oh
man.
boy.
It looks like everyone's getting better, but
Yeah. It's been a rough winter as far as
yeah,
sickness.
just everyone seems like they're getting sick. Like no one
Yeah.
was safe this year. It's like my whole family got sick, and like none of
Yep.
us really were together ever. So it's like wow.
Yeah, well, I was talking with my mom about it today too. My younger sister, she never gets sick. I tell you, I can't remember if any time in my life, memory wise. And we've been over this on this episode. I have a good memory, but I have no memory of her ever being sick. And apparently, like she is bedridden right now.
Ooh.
Oh jeez.
Like my
Yeah,
family, unlike everyone in my family, basically gets sick maybe once or twice a year, if that.
Yeah. I would go into my conspiracy theory of it, but I think I'm only allowed one per show, so
I would
I'll
agree
leave
with
for
that.
later.
And I know we're gonna definitely go into the other
Oh,
one that you normally stick with,
it's
which.
gonna be a big one tonight.
Yeah. I'll Yeah, we'll
I
see.
I will feed I will feed this one for Matt. Matt, do you think the Kansas City Chiefs will three-peat so that Travis Kelce can propose to Taylor Swift?
I kind of just wanted to get it over with, so yes.
Did you
Just over
guys
with.
like the video that I sent today though that offered the best case scenario
Oh,
Oh
for the
yeah.
Super Bowl where it says the Eagles win the Super Bowl on a tush push and the Chiefs throw a fit because because the Eagles won on the tush push. So the result is the Chiefs get denied their three-peat and the NFL goes to the rule committee and outlaws the tush push. So we get the best of both worlds.
Yeah.
I
Okay
mean,
with that.
I liked what the Commanders were doing against the Tosh Push, and then I was just kind of upset when the refs were like, if you do it again, we're going to give the Eagles points. I'm like, now that's bull crap.
Yeah, I was like, wait, you can do that?
Yeah.
And yeah,
Well, like I said
look,
last week, it's the two highest grossing teams in the NFL.
looked up the rule book.
All
It
money.
is actually a rule and has been a rule for a very long time.
They just never actually need to use it.
But I mean, I mean, at the same time, I'm like, why are you going to penalize the Commanders? I'm like, the Commanders know what's coming. The play call is very, very predictable. They're just trying to
Yep.
get to him before anyone else can.
Yeah.
Right?
Like, I think that was
And
just good football, like good classic football, making the right play and the good play.
The only
right.
problem is they were doing it offsides.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, when the tush pushes has like a, I think it has like a 98 or a 99.5% success rate,
Yeah.
it kind of needs to happen.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
know, I understand. Yeah.
Yep.
Just like a
Um,
Jalen Carter diving underneath the center trying to stop a spike and then pick it up.
Yeah.
yeah.
I want that to happen so bad.
I do too. That'd be funny.
Especially if it happens in the Super Bowl, man.
That'd be cool.
So we've got the Super Bowl down in New Orleans, and before we really get into the Super Bowl in and of itself, I do want to talk about the New Orleans Saints because they're the
Yep.
only franchise that's still in need of a head coach.
Yeah.
Um, we can have a little bit of a conversation here right now as far as guesses on who that may be. I'll give you my honest opinion. I know it's the popular opinion right now, and that is that Kellen Moore will become their head
Hmm.
coach. He just has to get through the Super Bowl first because he is the Eagles' offensive coordinator. But that is the popular opinion. I think it's highly possible. I think that's someone they're looking at.
Yeah.
I just don't know
Uh,
because I just don't know who would want to go coach them right now.
Yeah, it's rough.
yeah.
Um, the McCarthy is basically now the big name that is not a head coach right now. If you look at it, since he was basically let go by the Cowboys, I believe that there's potentially an option there too, but I wouldn't surprise me if McCarthy takes a year off like he did last time and like Belichick and Pete Carroll did.
Yeah.
Here.
I've been kind of looking at this and thinking, okay, maybe it could happen because it would kind of fit.
Mm-hmm.
Deion Sanders,
Mm, nah.
if he decided to come to the NFL, and then he would convince them to trade up to get his son.
Yeah,
Because they won't really got a quarterback. The rest of the team is solid. There's not like you're coming into a train wreck, but at the same time, it's like they need a quarterback.
well, that's a big part of it too. Is the Saints need a head coach who knows how to be a head coach. Dennis Allen has a fantastic track record as a defensive coach, and I yes, and I'm not just saying that just because he is now the Bears defensive coordinator. Um, he does have that impressive track record. They just need someone kind of like how they had Sean Payton to be able to
Yeah.
do that for him. I wouldn't say McCarthy's that answer. Sanders, maybe. I think the eventual goal for him is the NFL. I don't see why it
Yeah.
wouldn't be.
Well, I just see him, all of his comments, he wants to make sure his son goes to like a good place. And if you look at the top like 6 teams besides like the Patriots, like they kind of need a quarterback, but at the same time, you don't want to go there.
Yeah, it's very
Like,
true.
and if he has to be like, hey, you draft my son, I'll come be a head coach. I guess if that's in the
Right.
conversation, teams might be like the Saints could be like, oh, okay, yeah, like maybe you could consider that, because the
Oh,
Titans.
yeah.
Honestly, I think
Yep.
they'll pick up Cam Ward. The Browns, there's no way he's gonna go there. He won't go to the Giants. He won't go to the Jags. He won't go to the Raiders. Won't go to the Jets. Won't go to the Panthers. And then there's the Saints.
Yep.
So
Well, and obviously the worst case scenario. It's funny because yeah, probably if Cam Ward gets taken by Tennessee, it's probably looking like New York or Cleveland is the one who grabs.
the
Um,
natural next
yeah,
choice up,
exactly. And I don't know what Cleveland's plans are right now. It's a little murky there right now.
Cleveland has plans.
Yeah, that's what it sounds like. And then you've got New York, and you want to talk about throwing Shador into like the worst case scenario. Obviously, New York's a giant mess
right?
already with what their team is like, but I don't know if you
Both
guys have looked
teams.
at this. Yeah, but I don't know if you guys have looked at this. The Giants have the hardest schedule
Yep,
here.
it's pretty
Mm-hmm.
disgusting. Yeah,
Talk about worst
whoever
case
goes
scenario.
there, it's not gonna be good for the first year.
No,
You're just
not
gonna
at
get the crap
all.
kicked out of you.
Really though, like you are a battering ram, and
Just tank for next year and then
oh,
get a different
exactly.
Well, I mean, the
quarterback.
NFC East is even getting competitive with the Commanders and the Eagles now.
Well,
Yeah.
it's just going to be those two because I think the Cowboys took a major 10 steps back. Not only
Mm-hmm.
this year with not getting anyone to help their team in the offseason, but now, guys, we're talking about new head coaches here as far as teams that look like they have new life with the head coach. Uh,
Uh,
not the Cowboys.
it's
Not the
not the
Cowboys.
Cowboys. It's really not.
I mean, Brian Schottenheimer, are you kidding me?
Like it's who?
How about
Yeah,
them
exactly.
Cowboys?
Well,
Yeah.
did you guys hear who their new defensive coordinator is?
Uh.
No.
Matt Eberflus.
Oh, yeah.
Ooh, that's funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's say they're definitely not gonna get any new life
Yeah.
at all.
Until new life will not exist to the Cowboys until Jerry
No,
Jones dies.
dies, yeah, and then life will go back to the Dallas after that.
It's
Will
like the
it,
meteor that
though?
hits the dinosaurs. New life
Right,
exists as soon as the old dinosaur dies.
right.
That's who I'm rooting
Oh,
for in the
it's too
Super Bowl.
funny.
It's the
Yeah,
meteor,
Come
right?
on, Meteor.
yeah,
As
but
far as other teams though that look like they have new life with a head coach, it's funny. The three of us here, I think there's things to be positive about with both
yeah,
Vrabel and Cohen and Johnson. Honestly, Raiders with Pete Carroll could get interesting too.
yeah. I, I honestly, those are probably my top 4 teams that I was gonna talk about
Mhm.
that have that new life in them. Like they have a chance to get better. Like again, it comes down to a lot of different factors, but I feel like out of all the other hires, like they're the 100% the standouts. You
Oh
can't
yeah,
say one has a better chance than the other because one, the coaches aren't super proven. Like, yeah, Mike Vrabel kind of is, but
yeah,
at the same time, it's like it's more like we will see, but it's
yeah,
hopeful. So I
yeah. I
feel
agree.
like, yeah, it would be good to watch.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see. I look at those teams that are out there, and I think I think for the teams that we've mentioned, I think we will see an improvement from all four of those in some way, shape, or form. Am I saying playoffs with all those four? No. And
It'd
here's I think
be
there's
tough.
possibilities. Yeah, it'd be tough. We've talked about this before that we said the door is not shut on the Patriots maybe sneaking into a wild card.
Yeah.
The Jaguars, look, I know the Texans are kind of on top right now, but I still feel like it's somewhat in anyone's game in the AFC
Yeah.
South half the time. That's what it always ends up turning into. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It's
Right. Well, in the Jags, if they fix off their offensive line, like Trevor Lawrence is capable,
yeah, exactly.
Brian
like
Thomas Jr.
they'll
is
be
elite.
fine.
Yeah.
Like
And your defense is usually pretty good. It's just in there
yeah.
using the right way. I mean, look, Liam Cohen looks like a complete and total doof, but he
Just
can at
But
least coach,
so
hopefully.
Arik Armstead is actually going to go back to playing defensive tackle and only that, and our star defensive players are not going to be rotating out like hockey players.
yeah,
I just might want to move on from
would be
Gabe
nice.
Davis too. Just saying.
I want
Yeah.
that. I'd even want Gabe Davis.
There's plenty in the draft to choose from for
Yeah.
I'll
offensive
take
linemen.
a
Like,
second wide receiver. I think an Arizona boy's name has been popping up a lot.
yeah,
Or McMillan is his name. Yeah, he's good. He's
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
good. He's like the only bright spot on that Arizona team.
He's actually. I'm kind of hoping the Patriots snag him, but with their first pick.
See, I want
they'll
Brian
grab.
Thomas Jr. and
But
They're
McMillan.
gonna
more
grab
than
I'll be
Travis Hunter, and
likely,
you know
happy.
it. They're gonna
yeah.
Patriots are gonna grab Travis Hunter, and you know it, Matt.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't want to because I feel like it's too much drama that he wants to play both ways, and if you don't, he's going to cause problems, or he just won't
Yeah.
produce in one way or the other. So I
Yeah.
think it should just be a hard pass. Like, please, like,
Yeah.
come on.
Well, if he ends up, being this, the super dynamic player that they're expecting him to be, I mean, lately it's been the trend of why don't we take super dynamic players that we're worried about whether they're going to actually produce or not long term. We just, trade them to another team and get a defensive player in return. So let's see. Yeah,
Yeah,
you trade Travis Hunter for, I don't know, TJ Watt.
yeah, but
Do something out of the Mavericks playbook.
yeah,
Gosh, McKay,
but
I know you want to talk about that so bad too.
Well, dude, I was literally about ready to go to bed when that news came in. I about threw my phone across the room. I thought it was a joke. I thought it was a prank. It was that was something.
That was a
I know
wake
we
up
don't try
call.
not. Yeah, I was like, we don't talk about too much about the NBA on here, but I'll be honest with you, that that trade was
it was
wild.
wild. It was a wild day.
Yeah.
But I feel like in that situation, two people knew that what was going on, and that was it. The
Yeah.
two GMs. Everyone else was in the dark.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely, absolutely.
But
Yeah, going back to those two teams though, I would say the Jags and the Patriots are the more two that I want to keep my eye on.
yeah,
Raiders, it's the Raiders, so I just feel
there's a
like yeah they'll
lot.
make improvements, but there's a
Yeah,
lot to. And the Bears, it's not so much the team or
The
the coach,
Bears.
it's the fact that after the Giants they have the second hardest schedule this year.
yeah,
I don't expect them to get into the playoffs as a result.
yeah. I think this will be a good year to kind of bounce back and show that yes, we're capable, and maybe get some more people to be willing to be like, oh yeah, I'll go to the Chicago. Yeah, yeah, they got a
Right.
good team. So I
Yeah,
think that should
exactly.
be their honest objective.
And maybe
So
more of a thing of obviously Caleb Williams, all the hype that he got going into his first year, it didn't pan out. So going here into the second year, maybe it turns into more of a thing of, okay, cool, well, because you're not this big elite like everyone thought you were, you might not have a sophomore slump, but maybe let's see if we can improve upon year two.
hope so.
Yeah, I don't know. Hard to say on that one.
Really
I
do.
mean, stats wise, he was good, but obviously it didn't transition to wins.
Yeah,
Kind of like at USC.
yeah. Speaking of losers,
Let's do it.
so let's talk about the Bills and Commanders, and we'll just get it out there. We'll save intense stuff for later, maybe. But the Bills, they just got robbed. I'm sorry. I will
It
say
was,
it all day long. They got robbed. The beginning of the game, like a lot of people talk about the end of the game. I'm focusing more about all of the crap, illegal formation calls they called like freaking 6 times at the beginning of the game. probably not 6,
Well,
more like 4, but I feel like that was a huge blow to the Bills to get momentum early. It absolutely killed their momentum, and they couldn't get going until like right before halftime. And then you have another break, and then you have to get back on the wagon. So I
yeah.
feel like those calls were crap.
I don't know necessarily if maybe they could have played they could have made the total difference for the game because I still say just as far as on the defensive side, I mean this was the AFC Championship game was the first game that the Chiefs actually scored over 30 points.
Hmm.
The Bills
By
defense
2 points.
let them down.
Hey, it
Bills,
was.
yeah, I know, but the Bills defense let the offense down. Now that said, so that's why I'm saying, as I'm at the end of the day, I think it's possible that some of the calls that happened may have not have changed the game, but boy did they hurt, boy did they have an impact. The biggest
Yeah.
one I'm thinking about too is whether that ball really did cross the plane and was a first down, and clearly it's developed enough controversy again because here we are once again in the offseason where the NFL realizes that, oh, they've made a mistake and they might need to develop new measures to level the playing field. And it's again because of the Bills. First time it was with the coin flip in that really crazy AFC divisional game, and now they're talking about putting chips in the balls to determine
Yeah.
whether it really was a first down.
Right.
I mean,
Yeah.
I'm not opposed to that. They do it in tennis, so why not?
Like, yeah, I can want
Yeah.
everyone, like, yeah, it's great to focus on the two big calls, but me, I'm looking at everything else that happened. Like,
Oh,
yeah,
and
those are hard to call because like there's so much writing, whoever we want to call
yeah.
it. It's just like they're like Kincaid had the first down on that reception that got them to the fourth. He was clearly over the line when he fell, and yet they moved it a yard back from
Mhm.
where he landed, and like, yep, he was a yard short. It's like, so you're talking about his own part of the turn, but it's like, were you judging the ball that he had in his hands or his balls where it made contact?
Yeah.
Because
Well,
when
let's
he
talk.
fell over, it was right there. So it's
Yeah,
like,
I'm gonna.
yeah,
I-
I
I'm
just,
I'm
Well,
with
and then
McKay. I think the defense ultimately failed them, though.
I
A
yeah,
lot
I
of
do
bad
think Matt.
calls, but
but
But I
there were
do think that
several calls where they
the
got
call,
short
and
all
it
game.
does, and it doesn't help with the momentum side of things. Because I'm going to make a similar example for you here. We're talking about the AFC Championship game that was towards the end of the season here. But let's go back to the very beginning of the season, the first game, which is between the Chiefs and the Ravens.
Right.
What is the moment in that game that people talk about the
the
most after the
toe.
season?
The
The
toe.
toe, the very end. But what led the Ravens to that point? The amount of illegal formation penalties that they kept calling on the Ravens at the
Yep.
beginning of the game. But I'll be honest with you, saw a lot of illegal formations from the Chiefs, and they didn't get any of those calls on the
Right.
other side.
That's the thing I'm focusing on mostly, just because it's like, if you know anything about sports, momentum is huge.
Oh
If
yeah.
you can get all the momentum at the beginning and just keep going, if other teams can't get going, it's literally a handicap for the opposing team. And they let
Well,
the Chiefs just rip it out and just go to town on the first quarter, just like they did with the Ravens, and then all of a sudden they're like, "Oh, we got to stall them as much as we can with just BS stuff that no one really understands."
and Matt, to look at it from another example with the NFL, that's literally the perfect example is Super Bowl 51. The momentum shifts in that game where it looked like the Falcons had all of it, and then from that moment the
Yep.
Patriots roll and they never look back. The Falcons
Yeah.
can't stop.
They couldn't stop the momentum, and they're like, "Oh crap, what do you do?" And they panicked, and then they lost.
Yep, exactly.
It's so crucial, and everyone's just like talking about the two plays at the end. I'm like, no, it's at the whole beginning. I said it all season. They always get all this ticky tacky crap at the beginning of the game against the opponent, and the Chiefs just get their momentum up, and then they just ride it to the end of the game.
Which they're able to do whether it's they
Yeah,
survive or not. I mean, hey, the same thing
exactly.
happened. The same thing happened in Game 5 of the World Series. This year it looked like
Yeah,
the Yankees would have a chance to put another win on. I mean, they were leading 5-0, but then they made some stupid mistakes to allow the Dodgers to come back in, and from that point on, the Dodgers were able to just take the lead from them and win the series.
yeah,
It happens.
yeah,
Momentum is huge.
Yep.
yeah. And I
2017
kind of
AFC
feel,
game. Made me
to
sad.
not beat this dead horse too much, moving on to the Commanders and the Eagles side.
Mhm.
feel like it was kind of it wasn't really the momentum problem. It was just the Commanders just got nervous.
Look, they got
That
owned. Let's just call it
No,
what it
it's
is.
like they got nervous early on, I think, just because of the atmosphere, a lot of young guys, and I think it just got to him, which is
Yeah.
normal. That's why a lot of rookie quarterbacks don't just come in and dominate, especially in the playoffs. Like it's a different level of intensity and just craziness that if you're not mentally prepared enough for it, and you don't know what's going to be like going into it, you fall apart.
Yeah.
So. But I think that sums up that game. Like, I don't know if you just want to talk more, like
Yeah,
the
no, I
Eagles.
think that's accurate. Let's just go here into the Super
Yeah.
Bowl now, as
Yep.
far as between the Chiefs and the Eagles. Let's knock our predictions here out of the way at the very beginning. Shane, go ahead and give your prediction here. Do it with the numbers too. I know normally we just give the team, but on Super Bowl we usually do the numbers.
The numbers, man. The numbers,
I
what do
don't
they
want to.
mean? Uh, man, I gotta think for a minute of what I feel good on. You know, I think that this is gonna be a higher scoring game. I'm gonna say it's gonna be 42 to 35, and I'm hoping with everything in me, the Eagles will win.
Like it, Matt.
I don't want to.
You have to.
I know. The hopeful side of me, it's 31-28, the Eagles.
That's the hopeful side. Do you have another side?
McKay is
No, I'm sticking
already
with that. I'm
dead.
not going to. Yeah, like it. Yeah. We already know it's gonna happen. Like, sorry, it's
Yeah.
stupid. It's dumb. Doesn't matter what the score. The score could be 0-3, and the Chiefs will still win.
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest with you. My prediction score, final score, will be similar to the AFC Championship game. Final score will be 33-29, and they will find a way to get the Chiefs to win.
All hail our Lord and
Disclaimer.
Savior, Patrick Mahomes.
Disclaimer. I will say I'm gonna stick with the Eagles because if Saquon becomes an absolute freak, like he has in a few games this year, I think they can keep it out of reach and feed him.
This kind of transitions here into our X factors for both the offense and defensive sides of both teams. I think this is perfect to talk about because I completely agree with that. I would say the thing that would absolutely upend our score predictions, Matt, is what you suggested, that the Eagles will get going early with Saquon Barkley, and Steve Spagnuolo is not going to know how to contain it effectively.
Yep.
As a result,
If
the
he
Chiefs will be
goes
playing catch up.
MVP Saquon,
Mm-hmm.
clear winner, it's over. Because when he's gotten into that mode in a couple games this year, it just seemed like he was unstoppable.
Yep.
Like his cuts were just too good, his speed was just enough, like the holes he was choosing were perfect. It's just if it happens, like that's their X factor that I would put down for offense for Philly is.
But I'm gonna add another X factor to that though. But and again, you saw this in the NFC Championship game. If Saquon is going to be able to deliver in that regard, you need to have Jalen Hurts absolutely
He has to
on the
pass more
money.
than 150 yards.
Yeah, and he has to know. He has to know. Like they need to be perfectly in sync. Those two, as far as what is the defense looking like right now. Do we need to call an audible here? If we're in this moment, we're going with most likely a pass option here, but in this moment, we're seeing something that Saquon's like, "Give me the ball. I'm going to the house."
Yeah. Right.
The comforting thing is I do like the Eagles' offensive line. I know the tush push is annoying, but I feel like the Eagles' offensive line is going to be really helpful in containing players like Chris Jones.
Yeah, because they have bigger boys. They have big bodies too.
Yeah,
So.
I think I'll be honest. If we are truly going within the route of the Chiefs, pay the refs and there's cheating going on and stuff like that, this is going to be the most difficult game for them to sell it.
I I actually mentioned this to the guy at work. I said, if there is 2 calls that are called back by the Eagles off of a huge break run or like for like 70 yards or like a 50-yard touchdown by Saquon and they get called back because of holding, it's 100% rigged for the Chiefs.
Yep.
If it happens twice, Chiefs are going to win because the refs are helping them out.
Yeah.
Just because like 2 big plays like that Saquon has done would deflate their team, I think.
Exactly.
So
No,
if it
I would
happens
completely
twice,
agree.
I'm not doing the whole turnover thing this game, but if there's 2 big calls that Saquon did called back, it's game over.
I agree. Let's talk about the defense a little bit really quickly for Philly
Yep.
before we move to Kansas City
Yeah.
here. Shane, is there anything you want to offer on that as far as the defensive side? You're a little quiet, and I think it's just Matt and I were kind of rambling about Philly's offense. I want to know what you have thoughts
I'll stay
wise
quiet.
defense.
I mean, I'm also just looking at other things just for this, because, like, I don't know if you guys saw what the executive director of the NFL Referee Association said at all.
Yeah, I read a little bit of that.
Yeah, so he was saying it is insulting and preposterous to hear conspiracy theories that somehow 17 officiating crews consisting of 138 officials are colluding to assist one team, which, in all honesty, it wouldn't be that difficult.
It's like he's like feeding into the conspiracy with that when he
Because
said that.
because
I'm
here's
like,
the thing.
you're just feeding it.
During the Chiefs' 9-game win streak in playoffs, the Chiefs have been called for 0 roughing the passers while their opponents have 6. The Chiefs have been called
No,
for
one.
one unnecessary
Holding.
roughness while their opponents have had 4. So I mean that's 10 big penalties to 1.
Yep.
I don't know. I think the Eagles' defense is good enough. They got all those Georgia boys. I think that if anyone were to put pressure on Mahomes, which we saw when the Buccaneers faced them a few years back, put pressure on Mahomes and the team falls apart.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I can see that. Get to him quick
So,
is the key.
Mm-hmm.
yeah. And so we almost now just need to see some player who's really able to do that off of the Eagles' defensive line, like Jalen Carter.
Yeah. I think I'll kind of touch back. I don't know what Super Bowl it was. McKay probably knows the number, but with the Giants and the Patriots, the last
Which
time they were
one?
having this discussion, I told everyone, and I'll make the same prediction: if Philly can pressure Mahomes with 4 linemen, it's over. If they don't need to blitz to get to Mahomes, it's over. So that defensive line, if they can rush with 4 and let everyone else go into coverage, he's cooked.
Yeah.
100%. Which they're capable. Yeah, you can throw in a 5th in there every now and again to kind of mix it up, but if you can get pressure with 4 up front,
And you gotta get past Jawan Taylor and his false starts.
it's immensely easier to cover everyone.
I say that as a former Jazz fan when I yelled at him for false starting every single play.
Yeah. Plus the other thing is Mahomes isn't known for his throw the ball in 2 seconds. He lets it develop then throws.
And he gets time, yeah, it's true.
Yes. So if you can get to him quickly with 4 dudes, you could have just a QB spy as one of the linebackers chill and wait to see what he's gonna do,
Well, Shane's used the example of Super Bowl 55 is a good example for that. And then Matt, to your point, I'm guessing you're referring to Super Bowl 42, which is the first time the Giants and Patriots.
Back in 2008.
When they went undefeated until the Super Bowl.
Yep. Which again, we talk about the big play, but really what the difference maker is. The big play, obviously, in Super Bowl 42 was David Tyree's helmet catch.
Correct.
The big play in and of itself actually was the fact that Brady's O-line was battered and that Giants D-line was demolishing him.
Yeah. Yep.
Which was similar to what happened with Mahomes against the Bucs defense in Super Bowl 55.
Yeah. I'm a realist. I can see it when it's against Brady and the Patriots. I can see how they lose, but so we'll see.
Yeah, well, I think we'll see. So let's take a look at the other side of the ball as far as Kansas City offense and defense. Let's just start with Kansas City defense first. What do they need to
Yeah.
do? I mean, obviously the biggest thing that we're going to talk about is that they need to find a way to contain Saquon Barkley. But how?
They got to handle that big offensive line.
I
They
feel like
have to be
the
bigger.
O-line and Saquon are honestly the biggest difficulties for the Kansas City
Mhm.
defense.
I mean, do we know of an O line that they've played this year that has backed up
Similar.
like the Eagles?
I want to say no.
Yeah.
I gotta pull up Chiefs schedule now.
Plus, I believe. Yeah, I don't think they have any linemen out or injured.
Yeah, the only O line that it was, recognized as being better than Philly's O line was the Lions O line.
Yeah.
The Browns were rumored to have a good O line, but there was just nothing else happening.
Yeah.
I look at that, and they're
Do the
saying the Kansas
Buccaneers
City
have a
Chiefs
good
O line is number
O-line?
6. Who'd you say, Shane?
The Buccaneers?
Um, well, if you look at the statistics here, from the chins here, the Buccaneers actually have the number 17, number 17th ranked O line, and again, I don't know how reliable that is here because do you want to know what O line is ranked number 11 according to this? It's the Chicago Bears, and they don't have an O line.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the Atlanta Falcons O line was ranked number 6,
Yeah. Yeah.
and the Jets O line was ranked number 5.
Looking at the roster right now for like injuries and all that stuff, Eagles are pretty healthy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, at least for the most part, we know they've probably been given enough time where Jalen Hurts' knee is feeling better.
Yep.
There's their center. I don't remember if it's. Again, I'm not overly familiar with Eagles players. I don't remember if it's Jordan Mailata or whoever it is that is the center. He had some injuries in the NFC Championship game, but it looked like it was something that he could come back from. Saquon also had some issues in the NFC Championship game, but clearly it didn't
Oh,
stop
it
him.
was Jurgens.
Jurgens, yep.
That's what you're thinking of. Yeah.
Oh,
I
yeah.
knew it was a weird name.
Also, for
Jurgens.
the top offensive line, we got number 1 is the Denver Broncos.
That's
That
what
makes
you found. I
sense.
found the Lions. Interesting.
And then Baltimore Ravens.
Let's go with the Lions, though, or not the Lions. Excuse me, with the Broncos for that example. They played the Broncos twice, and the one time that it doesn't go the Chiefs' way is we don't even count that game because obviously they let them shut the Chiefs out just because they wanted to keep the Bengals out of the
Yeah.
playoffs. The other time, the Broncos should have won that game, but special teams.
Yeah, list I'm
So
looking at has
Plus, the
Lions at number
Broncos
6.
don't really got the best run game either.
true. But so
Yeah,
the
they
O
might have
line
a
is great.
great
So
line, but
well,
if they don't have anyone to
I know,
run,
I know. Obviously, we're trying to advocate here for why the Eagles would be able to win this, and we're using it from the point of the trenches, which is always a good
yeah,
argument to make because battles
right.
for football, especially in big games like the Super Bowl, are fought and won within the trenches. And yeah, I would say with that being said, if we're stacking the Chiefs against the Broncos O line that is being said is the best, then the Chiefs have a big problem
Yeah,
defensively because they they only beat the Broncos the first time on a luck play from special teams. They didn't score that many points. They just barely managed to get past the Broncos. And the other time we can't even count and use as good example because
yeah,
they just let them light them up.
right. Yeah. Well,
But that
if we
might be a
really wanted
concern for
to,
Kansas
yeah,
City's defense.
yeah. So if you want, we could move over to the offensive side of the ball for the Kansas
Yes,
City.
let's do that.
I think the big X factors here. Obviously, it can't be Mahomes because it's just he'll do his thing like everyone says. But I think if Isaiah Pacheco can kind of go
Yep,
nuts, that's going to be a huge problem.
I would
Just
agree.
because they got Hollywood Brown, they got Xavier Worthy, they got Juju Smith-Schuster, they got DeAndre Hopkins, they got Travis Kelce. Like, add in the hey, we have a run game back better than what Kareem Hunt's been doing. That could be a problem. It's just like another thing they have to worry about.
Yeah, I would completely 100% agree with that. I don't know if there's much more that needs to be said with that, honestly, at this
Yeah.
point.
Yeah.
Just because, yeah, I look at that and I see, yeah, if they actually can unlock the run game, which I don't have major hopes for, but that
Yeah.
would certainly make a big difference.
Right, because it's hard because again, it's like Pacheco's been in one game since coming back from injury, and
Yeah,
it's like he has a lot to catch up on. I just don't think 1 week of no play. I don't think
yeah,
that's gonna help things.
yeah, I would
So,
agree.
but yeah, so what do we do next? Who's gonna win?
Yeah, we'll start doing some of our picks in. So, no, so we've talked about who's going to win. So the first pick that we're asking about here, and we'll just do these kind of rapid fire here. Who do we think
Eagles.
scores first?
Eagles.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Shane,
Yeah, I agree.
who leads at halftime? I'm going to say Eagles.
Eagles. Yep.
I think,
It
man,
would
I,
only
I,
help.
I don't want to be like the same as you guys, but I very much feel the Eagles will lead at half. I feel like the Chiefs are statistically a second half team.
Yeah.
Yes. And then you can throw in the conspiracy theory side thing if you want of, oh, they're behind. Oh, look at this amazing comeback and turnaround by
Oh,
the Chiefs.
Mahomes lights up. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I'd rather. Yeah.
I'm just referring to the two times they played the 49ers in the Super Bowl where the 49ers had the lead. Yeah, maybe you can say the blame should be held with Kyle Shanahan for that one, but
Yeah.
the Chiefs were not winning at halftime in both those
Right.
games.
Yep. But I will say, no matter how this game goes, since I'm not joining anybody because everyone's out of town, no one will
Mhm.
be offended if I stop watching the game because I'll be watching it by myself.
I usually watch about half of it, anyways.
So,
Yeah. Um. Okay, so always a funny question because we always have to talk about the halftime show.
agreed. Yeah.
And this is McKay's favorite artist right now, so
Yes, it's true. I do love Kendrick. Well, and I don't know if you guys know, but Kendrick was nominated in I think it's either 4 or 5 different categories for the Grammys this year. He swept. He won all 5 or all 4 or whatever it
Oh,
was.
that's pretty impressive.
I mean,
And it's
he's
all
not
four.
bad.
And it was all 4 not like us, which is what we're gonna be talking about. Which is actually really funny because at that point you're basically like being like, wow, Drake. Wow,
Yeah.
that's rough for him.
I
But
feel like he'll probably play it at the very end if he does in the
I
set
would think so
list.
too. I feel like that's his last. I feel like
And
that's
then
kind of
the
the thing
Chiefs
to
march onto the
do.
field, and then the Chiefs come back and win it all, and they scream, "You're not like us."
Oh my gosh, please
Kill me
You can
no.
now.
see
But
it. You can see it.
I was gonna say that if he is going to do it, he is gonna play Not Like Us at the very end of his
Yeah.
repertoire, just because that's what you do. I mean, Usher played Yeah at the end of his. The Weeknd played Blinding Lights. If I remember correctly,
Yeah.
they did the Africa rendition very end of Shakira and J Lo. Um,
Yeah.
Shakira halftime show was great.
can't stop talking about that one.
Yep.
Matt sounds very upset about that one.
Oh no, it was a light sigh, like a good sigh.
It's like it was much better than the Maroon 5
Yeah.
performance with Adam
That
Levine.
one was bad.
I didn't
That
Yeah.
like
one, I
that
know we
one.
talk about this every year, but that one was bad.
The best in the last, like, I would dare say, 2 decades is the Eminem, Dr. Dre, and Snoop Dogg.
That one
Thank
was pretty
you.
good.
Thank
I'm
you.
sorry, but
Thank
there's
you.
no one that can
Shane,
compete with that.
every time we talk about the halftime show, whether it's when they announce who it is or, or when we talk about the halftime show and Shane only just wants to talk about J-Lo and Shakira and I'm over here being like, no, the one in LA with Dre and Snoop and Eminem and
That
Kendrick
that one was
Yeah,
and Mary J.
phenomenal.
Blige.
50
I'm not
Cent.
denying it. Here's the thing.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. McKay, I don't even think you really knew who Shakira was before the halftime show,
No,
other
no,
than her
no,
"Hips Don't Lie"
no,
song.
no. I actually did listen to a lot of Shakira.
I'm like, I love
I
Shakira.
do I do like her as an artist.
Yeah.
And my mother is like I'm not kidding, dude. Like I knew who Jenny from the Bronx was as a kid, so I knew who J Lo was too.
Let's see, I
Yeah,
didn't care too much for J Lo. I just like
I
Shakira.
didn't care. Yeah, I was all
So
about
basically, what I'm telling you is I still believe yes, there is more of a I know there's a little bit of a bias on that side, and maybe Matt agrees with that too, because Matt's probably in a similar position as I was, where elementary school, it was like you listened to, you knew who Dre and Snoop were,
Yep.
and then as you get into junior high, that's when you start listening to Eminem, and then for me, in my example, because that's when he started getting big, high school and college was Kendrick Lamar, and
Oh,
still is to this point.
for me,
Um,
Eminem was elementary school.
Yeah.
yeah, I guess as far as
Shakira
the
was
big one.
actually kind of high school for me. I was like,
Shakira
"Ooh,
was
who is
Shakira was
this?"
very young for me.
Yeah.
Yeah. But no, I would say that Eminem, Snoop Dogg, and then is number one, and number two is probably the Shakira one, just
It
for
was
the
really good.
aesthetics.
What? No one liked the Katy Perry one.
Just no.
Actually, that one wasn't bad,
That one
dude.
wasn't bad. Her
I was
riding
at that game.
her riding out on the giant line was actually really cool.
Yeah.
Right.
And the one weird left arc dancing. That was
Yep.
Here's the
Weird.
thing, it was great for the memes.
yeah, it sure
So
was.
so was the
Actually, I'm
Shakira
gonna be
one.
honest with you. This might be an unpopular opinion, but that halftime show by Coldplay in at Super Bowl 50 wasn't bad. I liked it.
I mean, I'm
Yeah.
not gonna lie. I didn't watch that because I was on a mission at the time.
Yeah, I watched it later, but still, I liked it.
But I
I
mean,
watched this.
we got some good Super Bowl halftime shows.
Yeah,
Yeah.
outside of Maroon 5, and
I'm
I'm trying to think
pulling
of
it
his
up
other
right
ones.
now.
What was that? Sorry.
I'm pulling it up
Oh,
right
you're
now.
pulling them. Well, I can go a lot of them off of memory, and I'd say
Yeah, I
really the
know you
only
can,
one.
you little show off.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
I'll be honest with you. If I go back through some of the ones that I have, that I've watched in recent memories, I did not care for the Black Eyed Peas.
I like
Halftime
Black
show.
Eyed Peas. There was
Ooh,
a
the Janet
Rihanna one.
Jackson one.
There was a
Oh,
Rihanna
don't,
one.
Matt, you would.
Hold on. There was a
That was
Rihanna.
like, I think that was like middle school for me. I was like, holy crap, look what
I think
happened.
everyone was like, "Holy crap!" on that one.
Did
It's like,
anyone
whoa.
did anyone else forget the Rihanna halftime show, or is that just me?
Yeah,
It
it's
was
just
stupid.
you. I kind of
Okay.
liked it.
The Weeknd. Let's see. Shakira.
That was awful.
Oh, Maroon 5 was before Shakira. I thought it was after
Yeah.
for some
Actually,
reason.
I liked the Weekend one. I didn't think it was bad. It was
I
weird, but I didn't think it was bad.
the I think it was bad in the sense of they had technical difficulties, which I don't blame the Weeknd for.
Yeah, yeah.
We got Justin Timberlake.
That one was okay.
That one- that one's pretty good. Then we had Lady Gaga.
It was okay. It was good.
And then Coldplay.
I liked it.
That had Bruno Mars come in, so yeah, not bad.
Beyonce came in with that too.
Yep,
Just
Katy
throwing that
Perry,
out
and then
there.
we had the Bruno Mars one as well.
Yeah, with Red Hot Chili Peppers.
Mm-hmm. And then
Oh, those
Beyonce
two.
with Destiny's Child.
I didn't like that one.
I mean,
No
I
one
feel
did.
like people either love or don't really care for Beyonce's music.
Yeah. There's one coming up. It's Madonna. I didn't care
Yep,
for that one
Madonna.
either.
Madonna was the one before that.
I didn't care for that one.
Then we had the Black Eyed Peas,
Didn't
which
like it.
I like a lot of. I like a good amount of Black Eyed Peas.
Yeah.
Then the
There was one with
Who.
Prince. That was good. Prince.
Yeah, Prince.
And the one with U2 was actually pretty good as well.
I haven't seen the. We got Rolling Stones, Paul McCartney.
Who
Those
was
were
the
all
one that
decent.
did the Michael Jackson one that he brought him back as like a hologram?
That was Justin Timberlake.
Okay, I was like, yeah, 'cause I thought that was just cool that they did that,
Yeah,
but
yeah. I
a
didn't
lot of
think
people were
that
pissed.
performance was bad.
You
Yeah,
two was back in 2002.
Ew,
yeah.
stop.
Oh, 2001 though, I gotta say, I don't remember this one, but this one would have been phenomenal. Aerosmith and NSYNC.
Yes, that's right. And that
And
was
that makes
after Armageddon had come out, so Aerosmith was even singing "Don't Want to Miss a Thing" along with all their other great hits. Yeah,
And then Bye Bye Bye, Don't Want to Miss a Thing. It's Gonna Be
yeah.
Me. Walk This Way.
I do like NSYNC. That's the one growing up for me. I did really like NSYNC.
My wife loves NSYNC, so I'm pretty sure she
Alright,
wouldn't mind my
anyways.
contact.
Anyway, yeah.
Anyways,
So
next subject.
yeah.
The
Okay, so
MVP of
uh,
said Super Bowl.
yeah. So who are we thinking the Super Bowl MVP is? Shane, you're thinking Saquon?
I think Saquon, it has to be, I feel like.
Hmm.
If the Eagles win, I feel like it has to go to Saquon, because I feel like he's going to do basically everything.
wild card pick. It's gonna be Dallas Goedert. He's gonna come to life in the
Wow.
Super Bowl.
Wow.
No, Wild Pit, Jalen Carter.
Here's the thing. If
I could see Jalen Hurts getting it if he throws out of his mind and he can outscore Saquon. I think they would give it to Hurts.
Yeah. Well, and I feel like there is a possibility here that it's highly unlikely to see a defensive player in
Right.
the Super Bowl. What was the last time? Was that Seahawks and Broncos? Was that? No, you're right. It was Von Miller. You're right. So it is even more recent than I thought. Okay. So is it possible? Yes. Do I think it's going to happen? Probably not. But let me throw this out here because it's going to want to be my out in left field pick
The
here.
entire Eagles offensive line for the tush push.
Oh, yeah, there you go. No, I'm going for the head ref. Just kidding.
Nice.
Yeah.
So I don't think it's gonna be Mahomes. Even if the Chiefs win, I don't think it's gonna be Mahomes because I just feel like over time, even that didn't even happen with Tom Brady. They didn't give Tom Brady the Super Bowl MVP with every.
Actually, no, they didn't give it Malcolm
Julian
Butler.
Edelman.
It was Julian Edelman, yeah.
Julian Edelman, and you also had one where I think it was Devin Bush, who was the Super Bowl MVP. So I'm gonna say in this regard, if it is the Chiefs, it's gonna be Chris Jones.
Yeah, could see that. That is a very high likelihood.
Yeah.
Because he would have to be a difference maker, so.
Definitely.
I just don't think Mahomes would do enough to make him be the MVP, to be honest.
Well, because he hasn't really shown much of that this whole season anyway.
And she's just not going to all of a sudden turn it on. Neither is Travis Kelce. Like, he'll have like one, maybe two good plays, and that's it.
I would agree, yeah. And of course, we know who they're going to show on screen when Travis does. But...
Have all the celebrities there.
Didn't she do like a song with Kendrick Lamar?
Stop.
Yes, I know where he's going with this.
Is it possible that she performs in the halftime show?
Please no.
There is chatter about it.
Well, if they don't show her 50 times in the box, she's probably getting ready for the halftime. So.
Yeah. If I remember correctly, it was her. If I remember correctly, I think it was Kendrick did a rap part with Bad Blood.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, there are some odds at Vegas for her to perform with Kendrick.
Like I've been hearing chatter about it for a while.
Yeah.
Well, moving on, right?
Yeah. So really quickly here. So now we're moving on. This kind of does more or less bring a lot of our episode to an end. I know we've got a segment here where we could potentially talk about looking back on the season. I think we might actually reserve that more so for once the season is officially over. Once the Super Bowl is over and we do our recap episode next week. So kind of wrapping this up here with the last few minutes. I've got a fun little trivia thing for you two guys to kind of collaborate on together here. And this does technically go a little bit outside of the bounds of football, but still within a realm that both of you would be able to understand.
Oh boy.
Sound good?
Shakira.
No. So we touched on it here a little bit actually at the very beginning. We were kind of like yapping about all these different types of sports that we're really big fans of. I can't remember if we were live yet or not when we were doing that, but talking about.
I don't know. I want to say we were, but I don't remember.
Yeah, we were just talking about we're like talking about favorite type of sports, which type of sport is king, that sort of thing. So what I want to do here, this is a really fun quiz that I've given to some people before here. The question in and of itself is what are the top 8 hardest positions in sports? Now, let me be specific in here before you guys start throwing out some of your potential answers here. I want to make sure there's some parameter sets so you don't. So there's certain sports or certain positions that you're just like, look, I don't have to guess that because I know it's not going to be on there. So as far as these positions on sports, it has to be for team sports. They won't have golf or tennis on there at all. It's like it is a position within.
To begin with.
Yep, it is within a team sport. Specifically, too, with this list, it's difficult and it's a hard position more so mentally than physically. Because if we're going focused specifically on physically, there's going to be a lot of conversation about football positions in general. There are football positions on this list, but this is probably more so the combination of physical and mental abilities as
See,
far as how to play this
see,
position.
it's always hard because I know that there are like some team sports where every player will say a different position is harder than XYZ thing.
So this is just this is one list that has that there.
So,
So with that,
with that,
let's see what you guys think as far as
Matt,
who those what those 8 positions would be.
Matt, you think one of them is definitely quarterback, right?
I would say yeah.
Yeah,
It has to
quarterback.
be on that list.
Quarterback is number 6.
Wow,
Okay.
sits pretty low.
I would say the catcher for baseball.
That is number 1.
Ooh, I was gonna say I'm like catcher or maybe pitcher.
Yeah.
Get a little more specific with pitcher, Shane, if you can.
Sweet,
The
homie.
bowler.
I'm like I don't know. All I know is that there's a relief pitcher and then a main pitcher. That's all I know.
I would
So it
say
would
the
be relief.
I would say
It's
relief is the relief. Yeah.
correct. The relief pitcher is number 3 on here.
Nice. I would say goalie for hockey.
Say
That is number 5.
goalie for soccer.
That is number
Yeah.
4.
Yep, I
There
was
we
like
go.
basically any like defensive like you make or break a thing will carry you forward.
Yeah.
Yep, absolutely.
I will say this next. I don't know if Shane's been with soccer, but I would say midfield for soccer.
I know soccer positions.
That is not on the list.
I was
That's
like
surprising.
I think midfield would be almost too simple. I mean
Let's
I
do a
feel like that's
little.
more physical and endurance rather than extremely mental.
Well, you
Yeah.
just have to control the game too if you're
Hmm
in the middle.
Let's
But
let's up the
Point guard
ante a
in
little bit here.
basketball.
Hang on. Let's up the ante here a little bit, and let's say that now. So we'll give you guys three strikes. So if you get 3 wrong answers here, then we'll just we'll call it that's the end here. But just for so you lost 1 here now, so you got 2 left, and you've got 3 positions that
you
still need to
wanna
be
do you
called.
wanna type out what we have so far?
Yes, you've got catcher at 1. You've got relief pitcher at 3.
Hold on.
You okay?
Catcher, relief pitcher, quarterback was 6. Goalies were 4 and 5.
Correct. And you had relief pitcher at 3.
So we're missing 2, 7, and 8.
Correct.
You want to fill in what we think? I put it on
Yeah.
the thing. I don't know if you're on
Yeah,
there, but
I can do that.
because we gotta think. Because did the one we missed? Was it the soccer one,
It was the
or
soccer
was
one.
it was
Yeah,
soccer one? Okay.
you said midfield.
So
Which
should we? I
I
want to
feel
say
like there
point guard, but at the same
I
time,
feel like
like
point guard, but I also feel like basketball's one of the easier ones. Here's the thing, he is saying mentally and being able to accurately put your team in the right position, call plays, have good
yeah,
ball control, and being able to shoot. I feel like that should.
manage the floor. It should be on
I
there.
feel like there has to at least be one basketball on here.
Yeah. And I think out of all the positions, I feel like it's either the point guard or the center.
I feel like point guard does a little bit more from
Yeah.
my experience playing
Because he play
basketball.
calls, yeah. Because he usually will run the floor and
I'm like, I played
coordinate.
center slash post, and I was basically just had to be big man while the point guard did
Yeah.
most of the work.
Right. Okay, I say point guard.
That's number 8.
Oh, thank goodness. So we got
Yeah.
2 choices.
Basketball's weak.
Now, can you give us one hint
Yeah.
that I'm going to request?
Yes.
Is this position, is the sport one that we've already chosen?
Yes.
I feel like
Okay.
there's another football on here.
I would want to say for football, it's either a corner or a safety.
See, I was thinking
Because you kind of get let
corner
off to dry.
or
a lot.
maybe tight end. Because
Yeah.
tight end has to block and also be a receiver.
Yeah.
But corner is hard because You have to recognize. But I mean, the mid linebackers too. Oh my
It's
gosh, there's
kind
so
of the
many
same thing.
positions.
Yeah. And we have 2 strikes left. So should we just start in the middle? Let's go middle linebacker and see. What do you think? Let's say linebacker.
Is not on the list.
I was like,
It's not on the list. Okay.
but see, that makes me wonder if the secondary is in there, because then it's like, is it corner or safety?
Yeah.
I'm also just trying to think of other sports of what it could be.
Kind of help you. You were on the right track.
Okay, then it's cornerback or
Okay.
safety then, most likely. I swear if it's tight end, I'm gonna punch someone. Probably
I'll
myself.
help you out here. Tight end is not on the list.
Oh, thank
Okay.
goodness.
I was like, because Gronk played it, so you know.
So did Aaron Hernandez. So
Well, Gronk played it because Brady was able to tell him what to do.
Right.
Gronk, stand up. Oh, okay.
Let's just go with corner. I feel like corner's
Yeah.
pretty difficult.
You guys said you're going with corner.
Corner.
Yeah.
That's number 2.
Okay.
Whew.
Thank goodness.
Thank you,
And the
football.
last one. Jeez.
Let's see.
Soccer on there.
We've done
got
basketball.
goalie,
I think point
hockey.
guard is by far the hardest one in basketball, so I think we can knock basketball
so
off.
yeah, we don't need basketball. It could be in baseball.
You guys want one more hint?
Sure.
Stick with football.
Stick
Stick
with
with
football.
Yep.
Piece of crap.
Kicker, maybe? But kicker's not physically demanding, but it's probably one of the most mentally demanding positions.
Yeah, like it's lots of pressure. Especially when it's like do or die. Don't miss.
Like, being a kicker is an art in a sense, because...
Oh, I got it. It should be number 1, but official.
Gosh.
That's a position, right?
Please no, please no. Gosh.
For some teams.
No, that's not a hard position. That's an easy position. If you're reffing for the Chiefs, you just throw a flag for the other on the other team.
Yeah, makes sense.
Easy.
I
feel like
if
kicker.
it's gonna be football.
I feel like if it's football, it's kicker or maybe, hear me out, center.
That's the exact same thought I had. It's either the center or the kicker.
Ugh.
Because there's not a lot of great centers.
Here, the issue with that is that center is definitely more physically demanding, but kicker is definitely more mental warfare and having to perfect your craft.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm kind of feeling kicker, but I'm going to kick myself if it's center.
I'd say kicker too.
Kicker?
I like that pick.
Is not on the list.
Dang it.
Wow.
That's
So that
okay,
was
my man.
actually you got. So this will give it away though. As I guess your final. I know technically.
Blindside,
game's
left
over and
tackle.
everything. The number 1 job for the number 7 job. The number 1 job is protect the.
Blindside, left tackle.
It's the left tackle.
Yep.
Nice.
The second highest paid position on most teams.
Yep. It is the left tackle. But hey, you guys did great. You got almost all of them.
Yeah.
Dang. High five.
Yeah, that's a fun one that I've asked before to a couple people, and I think it's cool, especially when you look at it too. I mean, maybe to some level you look at it and you say, really, how hard are some of these? But they really are mentally. I mean, catcher.
Yeah.
I mean, the one you're anchoring the defense for for the team and all the way out to the outfield because you have the ball flying at you all the time.
Yeah. Right.
Corner, I mean, if you want my honest opinion, I actually would say quarterback is harder than corner. But I think probably for combining the physical and mental, yeah, I'd say mentally quarterback is harder than corner, or they're about even. But corner, you're doing more physical than I think quarterback is.
Yeah, and then I knew the relief pitcher had to be on there just because like he either come to a game where they had to say, hey, it's a tight game, close us out, don't screw up, or he has to come in and go lights out.
Yep, and sometimes as a relief pitcher, you may not be the starting pitcher, so you might not be on this crazy pitch count, but you might be blowing your arm out to to keep them in the game.
Exactly.
Goalie for soccer and hockey makes sense. You got to have quick eyes. You got to be right on top of it.
Yep.
QB, you got to be basically the highest IQ out there. left tackle. I mean, you're protected, like we said, you're protecting the blind side. You are doing, a million different tasks to
I will
protect the
say,
QB.
the left tackle on this one definitely feels one more out of place because that one feels almost pure physical.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then point
But
guard
maybe
makes
mental from a
sense.
point too of keeping an eye on what the quarterback is doing and versus, who could be coming in. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but I still feel like that one could have maybe been left off the list.
Yeah,
Yeah.
maybe. Yeah. And then point guard, you guys mentioned it yourselves. They run offense. They have to see the
Yeah.
floor.
Yep. Yeah. Perfect.
Well, good stuff. Gentlemen,
Yep.
we have a Super Bowl this Sunday. We are not
Yep.
thrilled about the two teams matching up, but all the same, it is the Super Bowl. There should be some highlights. There should be some annoying lowlights.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if you're there at
And
least for the food and the commercials, you might be in for some entertainment. I saw that Uber Eats commercial that I shared you guys. That was funny.
yeah, that
I'm
was
looking
pretty
forward
funny.
to commercials like that.
Raise your hand if you're watching the Super Bowl.
And the trailer for the new Park movie also.
Yeah, there's gonna be a lot of good movie trailers on there. Although I did read something talking about how a lot of studios, because you know how it's so expensive to have a TV spot in the Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Apparently, the only movie studios that have enough money to actually do a movie spot this year are like Warner Brothers, Paramount, and Disney.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought that was interesting.
And I think Paramount is the one that's making Jurassic Park, if I'm not mistaken.
It would only make sense, yeah. Anyway, yeah, it should be entertaining. It should be good.
All right.
Yeah, I
Well,
think I think that's probably about it for this one, and we'll just see how it goes, and we'll talk about it, and just kind of wrap up the season with our last episode coming next week.
Yeah.
yep. Until then, see you guys next time.